started going in his younger years. Always wished it would be his life.
Hey everyone, this is January in Ontario, Canada. It's snowing. Looks beautiful, but it means that there's 5 months still until we get the boat in the water, or until you can go boating. So that leads me to the title of this video: what's next for us? Are we done? So let's talk about it. Now, before we get into the details of this video, I did just want to make mention of the tarp here. I would recommend that you guys get your boats shrink wrapped. For my boat, I think it's about 500 bucks. It's so much better. It stretches the plastic tight, so snow can't stay on top. It just slides right off. What I did, the first year I did it, it was perfect because I'm cheap. The second year I tried to reuse the old shrink wrap, and it worked, but the problem is you can't get it tight anymore. And you can see on the top of mine, the snow is going to collect in those valleys. And what you have to do is, again, you can see I've got my step ladder. You have to get up when it snows and clean out the ice, clean out the snow so that it doesn't wreck your boat or your tarp, that sort of stuff. I was going to get it shrink wrapped this year, but I had to do some repairs to the boat, and I wasn't done in time to get it shrink wrapped properly. So I just got this tarp. It's only $300 for the tarp, so you are saving money. But it's a pain in the ass. You constantly, when it snows, you got to be cleaning it off, or after it's rained and the ice is built up, you got to get that out of there, or it wrecks the tarp and puts a lot of stress on everything. So anyways, I just wanted to make mention of that. And the tarp, this tarp, it's probably only going to last one season, so you're better off just spend the money, get it shrink wrapped. So I just wanted to talk to that. So let's get into the details of this video. Snow. We've got to get that snow off the tarp. So are we done? Are we done boating? The short answer is yes. We are done boating the Bay of Quinte, unfortunately. The idea of this project and the goal was always to have a trailerable boat, and we wanted to move it around and experience new waterways. We are very fortunate enough to live in an area where if we drive an hour in any direction, we have access to what I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think we have the access to the best freshwater cruising in the world. So the idea was to spend a season or two in an area that we liked, and then we were going to move on to a new area. So we loved the Bay of Quinte, and we're gonna move forward. I will say this, we are gonna miss the Bay of Quinte, and we're definitely coming back. We didn't get to see all of what we wanted in the area due to COVID and some other things, so we do want to come back. But we have spent the better part of 3 years enjoying the Bay of Quinte, so that's why we're going to move on. I would recommend the Bay of Quinte to anyone, to everyone. If you're like us and you want to move your boat around and try new places, the Bay of Quinte is an awesome, awesome place, and I don't know how we're going to top it. I would describe the Bay of Quinte as, in one word, just diversification or diversity. You've got everything. You've got secluded anchorages. You have party anchorages. You have world-class beaches. You have poker runs. You've got sailing regattas. World-class fishing. Some of the best fishing in the world, freshwater fishing in the world, is in the Bay of Quinte. You've got some of these anchorages or tie-ups. You have conservation areas right off your boat, so there's hiking and cool stuff to see and learn. You have great marinas. The Trent Port Marina is by far one of the best marinas around. You have some small towns, quite a few small towns that cater to boaters. You've got museums and cool stuff to check out. You've got cool bars, restaurants, cider houses, wineries, breweries. So you've got all of that as well. Then you have the Trent Severn Waterway. So you've got all that stuff. So we thought it was an awesome way to spend our time, and we recommend it to everybody. I am curious with loopers whether they spend enough time in the Bay of Quinte. I think they just go from Kingston straight shot through to the Trent Port and then up the Trent Severn, which I think is a disservice. You could spend, now I guess as a looper you're on a bit of a schedule, but you could spend a week or so in the Bay of Quinte checking out these world-class beaches and some of the other cool stuff. But definitely recommend. It's a great place, and we'll be back. There, I think the lighting's a little better in the boat. That green tarp gives off a bit of a green glow. Anyways, so where are we going next? That's I've been getting that question a little bit. Just people wanting to know, what's next season look like for us. So, as I said, we were lucky to be in such a great cruising area. So where do we go next? We have about an hour's drive, a little more than an hour's drive to the east. We have Kingston. It's a bit windy. I don't know if you guys can hear the tarp blowing around. But Kingston should be on people's bucket list. It's a great area, historic city. There you have the Thousand Islands, so you have access to the Thousand Islands, which is amazing cruising. Really, you could go up, depending on how long you wanted, you could go up the St. Lawrence to Ottawa or to Montreal. But you can also go north through Kingston up the Rideau Waterway, which is a historic canal system that takes you from Kingston to Ottawa through the Canadian Shield, which is completely different, and it looks awesome. We're not going to go there. It is on our list. It's just because it is a little over an hour away, mainly right now, with the kids being how old they are and that, we're mainly weekenders, so it makes it difficult to travel that far just for a day or two. So we're not going to go there yet. So then we thought, what about Cobourg? Cobourg is about 25-30 minutes to the west of us. Why Cobourg? Well, it's now on Lake Ontario. So now you can access from Cobourg, you can access some historic towns, some smaller towns, and then you also can access the Greater Toronto area. So all the suburbs, you've got Whitby, Pickering's got a big bay and a marina. You've got Toronto, which you could spend tons of time in. And you've got Port Credit in Mississauga. You've got Oakville, Hamilton, Niagara Falls. You could even explore some of the American towns and cities as well. I thought that would be cool. That's completely different. It's more big water, it's big cities, so it'd be a totally different vibe. And then you could do some deep water salmon and trout fishing out in Lake Ontario. The issue there was it's mainly big water cruising, and I wonder whether we would be more comfortable doing that in a bigger boat. So we're putting that on hold as well. So, people have said the Kawarthas. I've heard from some people, and please, if you've been there, put it in the comments below, but some people have said the Kawarthas are way better than the Bay of Quinte. So I don't know if that's fighting words or what, but it's on our list as well. You're talking Lakefield, Bobcaygeon, Buckhorn, Fenland Falls, that sort of area. That, again, is north of us. It's probably about an hour north as well. So once again, the time kind of plays a role. So we're not going to do the Kawarthas next year. So what does that leave? Well, again, based on the proximity to us, we are just making a short jump north. We're going to put the boat in Rice Lake for the summer. The east end of Rice Lake at Lock 18, you have Hastings Village Marina. If people remember, was that our very first episode? We launched in Hastings. And people might roll their eyes and say, well, why would you want to spend an entire summer on Rice Lake? It's mainly just transited for people going up the Trent Canal or down the Trent Severn. But I think that's kind of the point. We want to show people that there is a lot to do in the Rice Lake area. But more than that, it's close. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be easy to get to for one day, one night, a couple nights, whatever. The other thing is it's central to all of our friends and family, whereas Trenton was a bit of a hike for people to come out and hang out. Rice Lake allows people to come out for the afternoon and have some fun with us. The other part of it was we've explored the Trent Severn up to Frankfurt. Now that we're based in Hastings, we can explore it from Hastings down to Campbellford. And then we can explore it north, up through Peterborough, up through Lakefield, up to Stony Lake. We figure we can tackle that section next summer by doing short hops. Whereas, if you want to go to Hastings from the Trent port, typically people go from Trenton to Frankfurt, which is about 3 to 4 hours, depending on the locks. So there's a day. And then they go to Frankfurt to Campbellford the next day. And then they go from Campbellford to Hastings the next day. So you're 3 days up to Hastings, and then you'd be 3 days back to the Trent port. So for us, that's essentially your week gone. If you want to make long days, well, now you've taken it from 6 days, maybe down to 4 or 5 days. So by moving the boat to Hastings, Peterborough is only 1 day from Hastings. Campbellford is only 1 day from Hastings. So we figured by moving the boat to Hastings, it allows us to cover more of the Trent Severn Waterway without spending as much time actually cruising and making miles. So another thing that people may not realize is Rice Lake's a pretty busy hub in the summers. There's fairs, there's festivals, car shows, and a lot to do around the lake, like poker runs and fishing tournaments and things like that. So that's what we're doing for the summer of 2023. We are going to explore Rice Lake, up to Stony Lake, we hope, down to Campbellford, show you what you might be missing. And for people that want to move their boat around like us, we're going to try and show why Rice Lake's a fun place to be. And for loopers, why they might want to spend an extra day or so in the Rice Lake area. So if you guys have any comments or have ideas on what to do in the Rice Lake area, let us know in the comments. And that's what we're doing for 2023. Cheers!